All right. Whew. That's about all I can say. Is whew. All right. Late to stream. Yeah. Well, I should say late to record. Spent two and but a long time in another YouTube comment thread that I've been in for a very long time. Honestly, I should just live stream, grab a buddy, jump on Dead by Daylight, and then live stream everything that happened and show the different alternatives. But I don't have time for that. So, another day, another creation. Let's see what we have going on here. There's one thing that I want to go over. I clicked on it and I thought it was funny. Killer concept, the flesh. This person who has created an idea for a killer who could be trying to overthrow the entity by gaining more and more mass. Almost like, was it Abhorrent Flesh or whatever from Darkest Dungeons? The first one. The flesh beast that came from that. Unfortunately, apparently he has a website and everything else going on with this. I'm not gonna click any links because I don't want to potentially get any type of viruses or anything like that. So hopefully, when this gets updated, once they notice and this gets fixed, so we can do a review on it. Sounds like an interesting thing, but I'm not clicking on random links. Some people say that it's good. There's other comments and things like this. Even Galen Newman's come. Um, I'd love to view it, but yeah. I can't afford getting a virus or an IP tracker or something like that from clicking on a link. Which, I mean, will lead you to the website, but then bam, he just has your IP, especially if it's the website designed by him. He probably has your IP anyway. And even though I run a VPN, I still don't want to necessarily risk that. So, I'll wait till it's actually added to the forum. Also, just talking of that, if you do go to the website and this lock isn't here, or it says unsecure or something like that, keep in mind that, it's not safe for you to go. If that lock is there, you can have a little bit more concern. I'd also go into a private mode before going to that website as well, just in case he has any type of cookies and things like that. So, you just got to protect yourself when going into the unknown. But we'll start with the shapeshifter. Now, keep in mind that Michael Myers, by DBD definition, is called the shape. So, having the shapeshifter, I'm going to hope that this somehow goes into. Well, now it's probably not going to be anything near Michael Myers, but they're going to have to change from the shape shifter to calling it something else. I don't know, like the mask or the duplicate or the homunculi or something. I don't know. But let's get into this. Well, they go immediately for the power. Okay, this power is based on a token system. You get a token every time you hit a survivor. To a base maximum of 4. You can use a totem to transform yourself into a chosen survivor for 60 seconds. The animation to untransform yourself takes 2 seconds. There is a Halloween style Dead by Daylight game that's came out that I've watched a couple of YouTubers play. And that is literally one of the powers that the killer has, is the ability to shapeshift into either objects or other players and walk up and do the business. Alright, acute census. If a chase with a survivor takes longer than 30 seconds, then all generators being repaired instead of report will be highlighted for 10 seconds. Mm, if a chase with a survivor takes longer than 30 seconds, all generators being repaired will be highlighted for 10 seconds. I'm gonna hope that this is the meh perk being introduced first. Is the problem as I see with this is that if you're already in a chase with a survivor and it's already been longer than 30 seconds and it's not near any type of conclusion, which generally, once you get lower level, by the time the first person goes down and is getting hooked, survivors are basically just completing 2 or more generators. So at the 30-second mark, you should still technically still be in chase if you got, a decent looping survivor. Or you would have already downed him. 30 seconds really makes that very interesting time frame. Because if you're in and you're chasing a survivor, if you don't get him down, or if you are getting him down, you want to wait until the 30-second thing procs and then you want to down him, effectively extending the chase and giving survivors more gen time. But if you're past the 30 seconds and everything is, highlighting and things like that, you're really not going to have enough time to stop and really look around to get, an anchor and everything and what you're going to plan to do next because you're still chasing that survivor. So it's kind of, I don't know, it needs to have some sort of maybe a passive edit to it so it actually helps you. Any type of passive. I mean, like, even like something simple that's negligible in this case, like a very small speed buff, or the ability to do something faster, or the ability to track something, or anything. Like, something needs to be added to the acute census. Because as of now, it's severely underpowered. And, like, I'm thinking of different killers you could run it on, but I'm like, if they can apply the exposed status effect, like Michael Myers or Ghostface or something like that, the chase is going to definitely be over before 30 seconds. So, I mean, that's very hard to get that all the way to 30 seconds without either having to just sit there and run behind the survivor waiting on a proc or something like that. But even after it procs, all you're doing is getting sight. So is it really worth it just for 10 seconds of sight? Also, I guarantee that 10 seconds is going to be nerfed down by behavior to 4 seconds to make it something like barbecue and chili as well. Because it can be abused by, especially, let's say, like a tier 3 Michael Myers. It can be heavily abused by a tier 3 Michael Myers. If he's chasing somebody with a 99% tier 3, he waits till the perk this proc, goes into tier 3, and then immediately dips over to a generator. So, I mean, it can be abused like that, or same with, well, I guess Legion doesn't really need it, because he can already do that, but any type of fast killer could technically abuse that for 10 seconds. Granted, it's only the generator being highlighted, but I mean, if you see that only two generators are being highlighted, you can, and you're chasing one survivor, you can assume there's two on one and one on the other, and just kind of hope you choose right. So as I said, it's not good, but it's also not bad at the same time. But I mean, having generators highlighted for 10 seconds is just, I don't know, it needs some sort of, maybe if it, after the 30 seconds, all generators explode or something like that, and then they get the highlight. Like, it needs some sort of other kicker to it. But definitely needs a buff. Well, a buff in one place and a nerf in the other place. Another Scourge Hook. Eager Wrath. When a survivor gets unhooked from a Scourge Hook and does a cooperative action with another survivor, both of their auras are revealed until they stop doing the action, and for 15 seconds afterwards. Are you insane? The effect lasts until a other survivor gets hooked on a Scourge Hook. Only one survivor can have the effect at a time. So, if I go and I pull my comrade from a hook and then immediately start healing him, both of our auras are going to be exposed for heal time, which is 16 seconds, plus another 15 seconds afterwards. Also, after putting a time and then saying the effect lasts until other survivors get hooked on a Scourge Hook, that is confusing. Oh no, so every time. Oh, okay. No, that's way too OP. So if I'm understanding this correctly, if I unhook somebody and I go to heal them for that 16-second heal and then 15 seconds afterwards, I'm going to be tagged. Then anytime after that, if they do any type of cooperative action for 15 seconds afterwards, both are going to be revealed. So it basically isolates the survivor and makes it to where they can't do anything with another survivor, or everybody's going to be exposed for the two of them. That is, I mean, when this was being presented, I want to know, like, come on, man. Full aura reveal, as long as you're doing co-op actions, and then 15 seconds afterwards. So let me run a scenario by you. If you have two people working on a generator, both of their auras are going to be revealed. If the killer walks over to that generator and both decide to run away, the killer's going to know exactly what they're doing for the next 15 seconds. That is insane. Then, on top of that, if you hit a survivor or hit both survivors and they run away and they find another survivor that starts healing them, you now know where that survivor is getting healed is at and the person that's healing them. It's almost like this just disgusting snowball effect, because basically if they don't have any type of self-healing, they can't heal themselves without exposing where their other teammate is. And if you're playing a stealth killer, all you gotta do is just go into stealth mode and just wait. Wait for them to stop heal or start healing, and then boom, you got them. Or chase another one, another survivor, down them, and go over to the other two, because you have 15 seconds after they stop to walk up to that person, and then bam, down him. It's like, why 15 seconds afterwards? And then why have their auras revealed while they're doing the action? It's like you can either have their auras revealed while they're doing the action in a very short time period afterwards, or you can have it just happen after they stop doing their cooperative action for a very short time period afterwards. But you can't have both, because this perk right here would probably become one of the meta perks, because once you hook somebody, they basically can't do anything. They can't heal. They can't work on any type of, well, they can't heal with the help of another survivor. They can't work on any gens with any other survivors. So if it's a 3 gen situation, they literally can't do anything. Like, absolutely nothing. So if you are going to make it a Scourge Hook, you're going to have to, one, put some sort of way for survivors to deactivate it. Or you're going to have to make it a token style system to where the effect builds up and up and up and up. You can't just leave it OP from the start. Perk 3, False Hope. If a survivor attempts to heal a survivor in the dying state, they scream and are afflicted with oblivious and exposed status effect for 20 seconds. Cooldown of 40 seconds. My dude. So, you're telling me that the one survivor who gets hooked on the Scourge Hook gets pulled off and saved, starts to get healed. They are now or revealed until they stop getting healed in the next 15 seconds. It's 31 seconds that could be exposed. After you heal them, or if you get to them before they're healed and they try to run in at 15 seconds, it's going to be an easy down, unless they are god tier at looping and run a straight path, basically dropping every pallet and jumping every, or vaulting every window. So that 15 seconds. And if you do use that power to tunnel and down them, anybody that tries getting them back up now gets the oblivious status effect, which means they can't hear the killer's terror radius, and they're exposed. Plus, since it's the same scored survivor, they're gonna have their aura exposed for 15 seconds afterwards. Meaning they're probably gonna go down next. Then you have 2 dying survivors fairly close to each other who you can either pick up or you can just camp and wait for the next survivor to come and try to pick either one of them up. Because if you camp the one that doesn't have any type of status effect, or the Scourge survivor, if you don't camp that guy and you camp the other one, when they go to try to pick up the Scourge guy again, which is probably going to be more than 40 seconds, even if they don't, it's a cooperative action and you now know where that survivor is. They'll probably get him up, but you'll know where both are at for 15 seconds. You come through, slap the Scourge guy back down, and then immediately chase after the other guy. And I'm like, imagine having the ability that somebody picking somebody up from the dying state gets the exposed ability to be able to put that on. How OP killers would be. Everybody would just slug people. Bam, and then just leave them there. Like, there's no point, because as soon as it says that that person's up, you know you got the exposed. I thought Starstruck was OP, but this even is better than that. Holy. So you have a perk that needs to be balanced and then 2 OP perks. Now, running it on this particular character, it may be for the most part balanced, it might be thought out and things like that, but we have another classic case of they're balancing it for that particular killer. They're not balancing it for the game and the overall picture. If you run different killers using these different perks, they become super OP. Like imagine the pig. He was dumped on a lot for being the worst killer with false hope. Not only can you put a trap on them, so even if they do go down, anybody trying to pick them up, boom. Actually, no, let's give him bird back, because pig has make your choice. If the pig is hiding nearby, and one guy takes the other guy off of the hook, boom, make your choice activates. They're now both exposed. If they elect to try to heal even after that, then boom, both of their ores are going to be exposed with eager wrath. Then if you down them and put a trap on them, you can just leave them there bleeding out, because if somebody else picks them up, you can just hide in a bush and wait to ambush them. Or you can just leave them alone, because as soon as they get up, the person that saves them is going to be exposed and ready for another trap, while as the other person that gets up, as soon as the generator gets done, if it ain't already done, has to immediately go and try to get the trap off of them. Or at least hit a box or two before they start going. So it's like, it's a super stacking benefit that these perks that are being added is creating. And let's see. After transforming yourself, the survivor turns into you and gains your tear radius. That would have to be changed. They left to after transforming, the survivor that you turned into gains your tear radius, but they can't turn into you. There's no transformations incorporated into the game for survivors. There's just different animations. So you can transfer your tear radius to that survivor and have that survivor running around, you know, scaring his other teammates and things like that. But I mean, then they would have to remove the ability for the survivors to crouch and point and do all the different gestures, or they're going to have to add those types of gestures and things to the killer. So a survivor can't, with a tear radius, can't just walk over to his buddies and then point at them and be like, hey, I'm a survivor. And then everything's fine. Man in a lab coat. Turns his arm into a snake tail, wraps it around. Oh my lord. This is a lot. I'm just gonna leave this here for you guys to read. That's a lot. That is a lot. Pardon my squeaky chair. I'm also grabbing a water while you guys read all of that. That is a But I mean, I guess he's a shapeshifter. Shapeshifting can be turning into anything, not necessarily another survivor. Galanonim? What's up, brother? Shape-shifting is really cool concept, but what bothers me is the fact that many people play as a team in this game. SWF? Exactly, there you go. And they would counter that killer by giving each other information. So it would only work against solo players. Solo dolo players. That is also another thing. You would have to find a way to counter SWF, so you would have to basically remove the ability of that particular survivor that has the tear radius to know that they have it. So it would have to be some sort of hidden tear radius, or it would have to be a fairly huge tear radius to get that kind of effect. To where people think, not as big as Legions where it's map wide, but it would have to be big enough to where people will be like, oh, well, he's on his way over to so and so, and the communications would be kind of scrambled. So this is a good, very good point. SWF. I do like the concept of a shapeshifter, and I've actually read about 4 or 5 different shapeshifters now incorporated in different ways. I said, if this guy was to get with the other shapeshifter guys, and they would all just make one fleshed out killer, I think they could make something pretty amazing. As of now, we'll leave it here. Actually, check. Make sure still everything's going right. Well, this just popped in. My dudes added in Thanos. Do I even want to click on this? You gotta click on this, right? The Mad Titan. I am glad that you named it the Mad Titan. I would definitely go away from anything Thanos like. I would change the Infinity Gauntlet to being something else. Because I'm pretty sure that Thanos is Marvel. Marvel's owned by Disney. And Disney, well, it's Disney. Disney ain't gonna let that go. It's probably never gonna happen to get a Disney killer. I could be wrong. But I I don't see that happening. And his abilities, the different stones. So I don't want to know exactly what the stones do. I want to know how you're going to incorporate each stone into use. Because the Infinity Gauntlet, all of the stones are available for use at all times. So how are they going to incorporate this? 6 Infinity Games will begin the trial floating in the environment. As he acquires them, he adds them to the Infinity Gauntlet. When stunned, he drops a random stone, hooking a survivor. Carrying a stone causes them to drop it. So it's essentially Pinhead's box, except for they are bound to survivors after they pick them up. I personally just like the fact that what if you minimize this to 4 stones, and every time you hooked a survivor, you got a stone out of them. That gives each survivor their own prerogative to basically not go down. And they can do it randomly assign stones to random survivors. They can do it by rank. The lower ranks get the better stones. I have no idea. That'd be on behavior. Just so from the start, Thanos can't get that lucky spawn near a stone and then immediately just start snapping people out of existence. Tap the active ability button to switch between the stones. Each stone grants a different power to both the Mad Titan and survivors. Each stone has a separate cooldown. Mind Stone. or read for 8 meter range. Longer you channel, the higher the range. The Mind Stone has no cooldown. And you can see everything except for basically survivors with the Mind Stone. So the Mind Stone will probably is one of the ones that you can actually get rid of, because exit gates are shown when they're irrelevant, and if you've played the game long enough, you know where the exit gates can spawn. Generators, you always see the aura of. The hatch, it's situational. It's kind of a meh. At that point, the hatch is spawned up. You really don't want to be sitting in place using this stone waiting to see where the hatch is. And on the counter of that, if there's 2 survivors left, well, now because of the hatch don't pop up until 1 survivor's left. So yeah, hatch is situational. Hooks are situational. You shouldn't be able to use this power to see where the stones are, especially if you incorporate them into an actual survivor. Like you said, survivors can pick them up. Because in that case, you can go to the middle of the map, use this power, and the stones will light up showing where the survivors are. So stones should not be able to be located. Pallets, not really that necessary. If you've played this game long enough, you know where pallets are. Totems, you don't need to know where totems are. The ones that are lit up are shown to you. Windows, you really don't need to know where windows are. And like I said, if you've played this game long enough, you really don't need anything from the Mind Stone. So if you can cut that out and get away from the Thanos idea and change it to something else, you now have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in Power Stone, so 5. Soul Stone. Soul Stone acts like a flashlight. Flashlight can see the aura of someone while they are blinded by it. Survivors are blinded for longer than the Mad Titan. So what you're saying is, with the hooks, generators, totems, and all this other thing, survivors can actually use these stones. That's what I'm getting from this. Okay. Problem with that. Clairvoyance is a thing. Playing with a Thanos character, Mind Stone should still be gotten rid of because of clairvoyance being a thing. Clairvoyance has an activation of having to take out a totem. Granted, this has the activation of finding the stone, but there's 4 survivors versus 1 Thanos. So I still believe the Mind Stone really shouldn't be incorporated into that, because there's clairvoyance and windows of opportunities and the other totem finding perk and things like that. You're essentially nullifying multiple perks to incorporate this 1 stone. And since you don't know what killer you're going up against in Dead by Daylight, sucked if you're running a specific build. And yeah, half your perks get deactivated. Soulstone, that one can be gotten rid of. The holder of the Soulstone can see the aura of someone while they are blinded by it. Survivors are blinded for longer than the Mad Titan. Yes, a survivor can be blinded, but they cannot be essentially flashlight blinded. It's not part of the game. So the only type of blind that they could give you is the same type of blindness that the flashbang effect has. That's not good. That's not good at all, especially giving the killer the ability to blind a survivor. Because you're essentially making a flashbang but into a powerful flashlight. And I don't know about you, I don't see many survivors who are being chased gonna stop and look at you. It has, it could have its uses, but it being a flashlight, I would definitely cut these two out and then roll with these three or four that are left. Space Stone. Teleport to any aura you can see. Can also be used in tandem with the Mind Stone or Soul Stone. Problem with that, if Killer has this stone, they can now sit in the middle of the map, locate whatever they need to locate, or towards the end of the game, even locate a hatch, or even locate an exit gate or something like that, and immediately, bam, teleport to that aura and get a grab on a survivor or a hit on a survivor or something like that. Immediately. They can teleport the hatch immediately, things like that. The problems that I'm having with all of that is, think of Midwich Elementary School. How compact that map is. It has 2 stories and all of that, which makes it a big map, but it's compact. If you stand in the middle of that map, or in the middle of the map, it's not going to take long for you to have the aura of every single thing on screen. Then the ability to teleport to any of the auras that you see makes that map extremely bad to play on. Now you have maps like Macmillan Estate, to where it's not going to have its effects and all that. But if you think about like Coldwind Farm, you can teleport basically straight through cornfield, or sit in cornfield and teleport whatever direction or way you need to go. Same with Leroy Institute. You can teleport pretty good on that. Things like Gideon, that has anything but 2 floors essentially. It gives you the ability to teleport from below to up top instantaneously. Things like that. It's essentially the nurse, but you can only go to an aura as opposed to wherever you want to go. So far, mind, soul, and space, all of that can be shoot to the side, and now you have a base 3. You generally want to get down to 2, but let's keep narrowing things down. Reality Stone. You can walk through pallets and windows. Survivors can channel the Reality Stone to create upright pallets instead. There's a perk for that. Don't ask me what it is, because I don't remember it, but survivors can pick up pallets with that particular perk. Being able to walk through pallets and windows, that's going to have to be defined. Is there any type of slowdown or anything like that, or you just at full speed just walking on through while channeling? It doesn't say anything about a speed decrease while channeling or anything like that, so I have no idea. It could be a temporary effect where, you just bang and then for the next 5 seconds you have something, or it could be, like it says, channeling, and the longer you hold it, you can just do whatever you want with it. Also, can you attack while channeling, or do you have to channel, which takes X amount of time, put the stone away, which is going to take X amount of time, and then immediately go and attack? That's the main thing. If you can channel and walk through pallets and windows at essentially full speed and attack without any type of slowdown or negatives coming towards you, then that's going to need to be nerfed to have some sort of activation time. But if it has an activation time, it could be faster just to break the pallet or vault the window. So how do you balance that? So I'm going to say that Reality Stone could be added to it, but it's going to be kind of redundant, because doing the original action of breaking the pallet or going through the window would probably end up being faster, especially with any supporting perks, than just channeling and walking through. And then on the counterpoint, like I'll say again, if you can attack while you're channeling, survivors can't really escape you. There's only a couple of things survivors can do besides, like the 360 and things like that that's run loops. If you can just counteract and go through whatever they're looping or trying to use against you, then what's the point of the survivor running? So I'm going to go ahead and say no. Meh or maybe if balanced right, but I'm going to go ahead and say no. Time stone. Reverse time on a generator, causing it to instantly lose 12.5% progress. Additionally, the generator will regress repair progress at 200% of the normal regression speed. Any survivors carrying the time stone have increased repair speed instead. The only problem I can see with that is ruin. Ruin would literally break the time stone. Also, I don't see any type of cooldown, use speed, or any of that. Because, I mean, it'd be different if you could actually slap the time stone into a generator and then it instantly loses the 12.5% progress and then it'll regress faster. However, the time stone is no longer in play. But if it's something you just walk up to and you're just like, shh, bang, and then you can walk away from afterwards and then use it on something else in X amount of time, whenever the cooldown is, it's going to need to be discussed. But the thing about this is, how are you going to use it on the generator? Because if it's an action, like kicking a generator, things like that, time stone can't be used with ruin. So it's going to have to be some sort of channeling type, bang bang effect that instantly works, that goes through all of the perks. 12.5% progress, that's not actually a lot. It takes 80 seconds. They're losing, 10 seconds worth of progress? Because I don't feel like doing all the math together. You're losing about 10 seconds immediately off of a gen. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's an eighth of progress. There you go. So yeah, 10 seconds. Now the regress process at 200% speed of the normal regression speed. It don't regress that much. I think it regresses like in a fourth of the time or an eighth of the time survivors are working on it. Like for every 4 seconds a survivor would work on a gen, it takes away 1. Or maybe I said that backwards. No, yeah. It takes like 1 out of every 4 seconds or something like that. Hang on. DBD ruin regression speed. I've looked this up previously. It's 200% speed already. Yeah, there we go. 0.25. So it takes a maximum of 320 seconds to regress from 99.9% to 0. Yeah. So for every 4 seconds Survivor works on it, Ruin takes away one. And you're adding, I think, 200% time stone. Another 200% on top of that. Which I'd say essentially doubling it, but it's not actually doubling it. But for the simple of math, I'm going to say that you're going to be losing, let's say, half. So for every 1 second that a survivor put into it, or for every 4 seconds, you're going to be losing 2 seconds. For every 1 second, you're going to be losing half a second, essentially. That's not how the math shakes down, but basically, for every 1 second, you're going to be losing half a second in regression. I don't feel like doing any complicated math there. Which makes that extremely powerful because Ruin is applied to every generator at all times, and then whatever generator's the highest, you just walk over and time stone, and then it's gone. Um, but time stone and reality stone both can be changed to do different things. They are nerfed. Either changed or nerfed, and they can both be incorporated into the game. Those are probably the two I would go with, but let's see what Power Beam is. Hold the attack button while the Power Stone is selected to perform a ranged attack in the direction you are facing. Survivors carrying have the endurance instead. How do you go from a long range laser beam to an endurance effect? The same with this. How do you go from super regression to just increased repair speed? Or the ability to walk through pallets and windows to upright pallets. The survivors are really getting shafted here when it comes to stones versus killer. But yeah, having the power stone and having an endurance effect instead, and once that procs has a 60-second cooldown, doesn't really make a lot of sense. That's kind of one of the problems we're having. So you'll have a range attack. So basically, people are going to go and find the power stone, and they're going to use that to have a ranged attack. Which it isn't specified how far range, how fast things happen, or anything like that. So it's just a beam that comes out. I don't know if it penetrates through objects or anything like that, so it's all gonna have to be further defined. So, I mean, between these three, I would run these two, but Power Stone can be incorporated. It's obviously gonna have to be really meticulously balanced and tested or changed. But I mean, two or three of these. The rest of these, absolutely not. But these three could possibly be formulated and worked. It's going to take a long time. Nobody here. But it is what it is. Alright, increases the duration that you read survivors' ores by X amount of seconds, is this first perk. That is absolutely OP with barbecue and chili and ghost faces, but I don't remember what it's called. Whenever you do a forced action within X amount of meters, your ore is revealed. Any ore reveal perk, getting an extra 8 seconds on top of that is insane. Especially if you stack this with The last guy's things that I did, imagine having all of his perks with an extra 8 seconds on top of it. That's the type of thing I'm talking about. Like, you have to balance your perk for the game and not just for the actual person that or your actual killer. Each time you hook a survivor, if they weren't the last survivor hook, gain a token. For each token, reduce stun duration by 8% and gain 10% bonus to all blood point gains. There's the meh perk. That would all be determined by behavior. I really don't have much to say on that. I mean, it reduces stun duration by X. Well, I do have one thing to say. It needs to have a max on it. Because technically, you can get 2 hooks on all survivors and have the speed to instantly break through pallets. Like, before the pallets even land, they'll be broken. Or not broken, stun. It's stun duration. Even by the time the pallet lands on you, it won't do anything to you, so you can just continue to move. So there does need to be a max that's defined here, but other than that, it's just a meh perk. Hex. Entity tries to rein you in, but its efforts only manage to invigorate you. Lights all remaining dull totems. After other hexes, for each remaining totem, your movement speed is reduced by 1%, but your ability cooldowns are decreased by 10%. Let me look this up before I say anything. Yeah. So 1% of the killer's 4.6 base speed is only 0.046. So they would still be running at 4.5054. That's negligible. You're losing basically nothing, but you're gaining. Let's say it's a 60-second cooldown. That's 6 seconds off of that. 30-second cooldown, 3 seconds off of that. 10-second cooldown, a second. Even those that only have like a second on the cooldown, that's still, 0.1 off. That's 0.9. You're gaining significantly more than what you're losing. Now, if you're running 5 of these and no hex totems at all, well, no, because you can only run 4, because the hex itself has the light one. So the max that you could lose is, let's say, 4% of 4.6. You'd be losing 0.184 speed. So you would have 4.316 speed. Survivor's regular running speed's 4. You still have essentially the same movement speed. I mean, it's gonna be slightly slower. So, I mean, the nurse's movement speed, or not the nurse's, range killer's movement speeds is 4.4. Regular 4.6, most range is 4.4. So going off of that, you're going to be losing, what did I say, it was 4.416. Yeah, 4.416 is what you're going to go through. So you'll be moving faster than a ranged killer, like the gunslinger, and I think maybe the huntress. I think the huntress is 4.4, could be 4.6, I don't know. I know the gunslinger's like 4.4. So you're going to be moving at the same speed as one of them, but your ability cooldowns are going to be decreased by 40%. That's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Especially if you think about all of the different killers whose abilities are a little bit longer for the reason that they're not too OP. Like you're almost to a 50%, reduction, but you're at a 40%. That's insane how much time you've knocked off by only reducing your speed to a little bit faster than a ranged killer. Plus add-ons. Ability cooldowns reduced by 5% on top of that. You're getting into the absurd. The thing that gets me is you pick up stones 15% faster. How long does it take to pick up a stone? Did I miss something? No, I don't see anywhere where it says anything about time it takes to pick up a stone. So I don't know what this variable means. um, Increase the duration that you read survivors' ores by 2 seconds. So that answers my other question. If a survivor does have a stone or anything like that, they can be read. And things like that. Oh, you begin the stone or begin the trial with X stone. These are what's going to be ran the most, and they're only green. So if I begin with Power Stone and then I have a second to bring whatever else, it's broken. When you engineer a survivor, their item loses 25% of its total charges. Once you have collected all 6 stones, you immediately snap and kill half of the remaining survivors. Rounded up. Doing so stuns you for 15 seconds. Really? Do you know how easy it's going to be to collect 6 stones? All you have to do is hook each survivor one time and then find the other stones. And if another survivor does pick up a stone, you just hook them again to get it. Like, that's absurd. I mean, come on. I understand you want to have Thanos' power and things like that. But you have to think this is the entities realm. So whatever state Thanos was in was probably in some sort of weakened state when he got thrown into all of this. The stones aren't going to be the actual stones. They're going to be entity created stones that empowers Thanos. The whole point of everything in Dead by Daylight, it's all the creation of the entity. It is part of the entity. Every medkit, every hatchet that the Huntress throws, every kunai that the Trickster throws, every totem, all of that is part of the entity. It is created by the entity. So the stones are going to be part, or basically power, given to Thanos from the entity. They're not the actual stones. The entity feeds off of the fear that the survivors have. So when they're sacrificed and running and doing all of that other jazz, the entity feeds off that. That is its power source. So having you just snap half of the survivors basically just instantly, I mean, it doesn't go with part of the entity's plan. But holy cow. Alright, let's see. First post, hope he's doing it right. See if we can dissect this and get anything interesting or any knowledge that I was asking for. It's not a fit thematically for the game. He just wanted to introduce a concept that both brings up the killer in power and the survivors in power. The stones make a noise when you get close to them. Thanos suffers a stun when he picks up the stone. He stops and goes through a little animation of him putting in the stone and getting all power surgy, which makes him even more vulnerable to stuns and makes him potentially more likely to respect pallets. He would need to give more distance to pick up the stone or risk the survivor coming and picking it up if he doesn't grab it right away again. AKA the pallet stuns making him drop a random stone is what they're talking about. So he's going to have to respect pallets, but the thing is, the odds of you losing an actual powerful stone aren't that high, because if you get a stone that you typically don't want or never use, the pallet stuns aren't going to matter for you. Some people might use the pallet stuns just to get rid of it. Thanos using the stone causes a sound cue. That's just talking about how to switch between stones, like the clown. There we go. I didn't go into detail about cooldown links and stuff, but they would probably be rather lengthy because they are separate, many, and they are pretty impactful. They ultimately have separate cooldowns that make each separately tweakable / balanceable. That is actually what you should have just put. Like, even if you didn't want to go through long amounts of cooldowns and list everything separately, you still should have incorporated in the base of everything up above that everything's going to have a lengthy, you ain't got to say a number, just say, after a lengthy cooldown, so and so and so and so happens. I mean, you're still going to have to define it later. I'm going to say the same thing, but I would have something to go off of as opposed to nothing. Channeling the Mind Stone causes you to stand still. That's what I was going by. That's why I said, like, small maps like Midwich, you can just stand in the middle of the map, channel it, and then with the other stone, immediately, boom. Here's this what I'm looking for. You can move at full speed while channeling the Soul Stone. It acts as, a base purple flashlight. Survivors are blinded super fast if they look at, allowing you to maybe use it in a loop to confuse someone. No, I think it was the, I'm thinking about wrong stones now. Uh-oh. What did I want more on? No. Yeah, it's the Soul Stone that was the thing. Was the Blindy Boo. Mind Stone channel. Soul Stone is flashlight. Space Stone is the teleporting one. Reality Stone, which is one of the ones I wanted to know that lets you go through things. Time Stone's generator. Power Stone's beam. So I want to know the Reality Stone. And then he's about to go over the Space Stone. Those are the two that I want to know about. Time is kind of meh. So the Space Stone in tandem with mine are Soul Stone. It's because those read auras, and I wanted there to be a way in the control stream to read an aura and use the Space Stone to teleport to it. Using the space stone causes you to move a little slower, but you can still move. It completes its animation. You teleport rather quickly so that you can use it in chase if you get blind off with the soul stone. So the way he has it incorporated with is blinding survivors and then teleporting over to them to slap them. I don't even think this creator actually even thought about what I thought about it using, because it reads any auras that are red can be teleported to. This means you can read the totems that are upstairs above you. You can just channel the stone for a couple of seconds and then boom, teleport up to it. Exit gates, hatch if it's on the field. Like, you can teleport to anything that has an aura. Windows, pallets, all of that. So I'm thinking big brain plays. But he might go into that. You move a little slower when you use the reality stone. That's the walkthrough one, right? And its cooldown only starts when you finish walking through a pallet slash window. When you use it, Palo's windows become translucent and disappear, allowing you to move through them. Survivors can see this effect. Not sure if they can also walk through it if they are close enough, or if it's just for Thanos. So I imagine funny bugs abound if you stop channeling while you're in the middle of a vault or pallet. I mean, the only way, or the easiest way to fix that is once you channel it, the effect just stays on you till you go through the pallet or window, and then it stops. There's an easy way to code that out. But like I said, it'll be a bam, it's activated type thing as opposed to a holding channel. Well, it might have to channel it to 100% before you can use it, but interesting. That's basically the idea of this whole post. I'm gonna give you my idea. It may work. I don't know. It might not. This is my first post. This is, this is one of my ideas, I should say, and I hope you like it. I'm going to take a slight break
Ow!
I'll be here to help pick up where you left off. Just say, show recent files.
Ha!
God dang it, I used my saboteur. Why do I hear breathing? So for whatever reason, my mic was muted, and yeah. I apologize. It might still be muted. I haven't had time to check. If it's not muted, then that ghost face thing that happened, I foreseen coming. I knew it was gonna happen. But I had to finish that generator. You go out window, and I'll go out pallet side. I was coming after us because I was pallet ready. exposed, guys. You ain't doing much to me. Sorry to tell you. You stalking me ain't gonna do anything. Oh, what was the medium? Why a medium there? What? That is not cool, bro. I thought I leaked out enough not to get the medium ball. But I guess not. Oh, that's upsetting. And the rest of them didn't come help dogpile that generator. That's too late now. He's gonna go right back to it. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate indeed. Nobody else is working on any other generator. And that one's still just aloof and waiting. One of you needs to save me. Only one. Somebody please. Go to the generator. Forget saving me. What are you doing? Put pressure on him by completing the generator. Then think about saving me afterwards. Also, how am I getting all of these status effects from being on the hook? Oh. I don't have access to my dead hard though, so I'm probably going down. I'm not making this one, guys, unless I play it real safe, which I don't feel like doing. Maybe I will make it. Alright, I have access to Dead Hard again, so I don't need to stay at the exit yet. I need to get that healing. But I don't know God now. He's not running nowhere. He's just down somewhere. Oh. Y'all better get her out. I'm sacrificing myself for this. Close, but no cookie. If that music hadn't played, I wouldn't even known I was being chased at that moment. Holy. Heart attack you. Oh my, all of you better get out. Oh my. It just randomly starts. What? You might want to keep looking. Oh, you're in the wrong area. Oh no. Claudette, not like that. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? At least go through the house. Oh, that's so unfortunate. And she ain't stopping. What are you gonna do? If he exposes you before you get to that hook, you're dead. I didn't think so. Yo. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Alright. Woo. That was oh. So is my mic still good? Like, are we good? Alright. Yes, we are good. Boy. I mean, I guess per definition. I don't need that running. Oh yay, look. If I don't play it, it's gonna... I guess per definition. Yeah. So, you know. I'm glad you can hear me. Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by, as always. That last game was absolutely terrifying, but I got through it. Oh, man. Ooh. Have a good sleep and don't let Freddy get you. Gideon meat plant. Power struggle's good on Gideon meat plant. It's a shame I don't have my regular build. It's deception, power struggle, dead hard, and then the fourth part I change out depending on how survivors are actually playing for the day. Sometimes it's a heal perk, sometimes it's not. Oh boy. Oh, I think after this round, I'll probably be tilted enough to jump on Rocket League, which I guess I might as well use my extra modes account. I haven't played on all of my Smurfs here recently. I've only played on like 3 or 4 out of the 7 accounts. 7 accounts? That's ridiculous. Let's hope for a total. Might as well get their attention. It's a nemesis. Doesn't even matter. I will use that to go the whole 2 feet. I'll use it to check around. It's not wasted. Is that a zombie or is that a survivor? Nah, it's too fast to be a zombie, right? Oh, that's a zombie. Oh yeah, I'm ready for this. Wouldn't that be mean to take out basically holiday hopes that you know he's gonna prioritize? I'm one of the farthest ones away. If I get chased up the stairs and drop down, I'm knowing to decide to go. looking for gems, so we should at least have 2 parts. Unless both of them went to the rescue that. He does know. That was interesting. I did not jump over that barrier. What? Thanks to that guy's videos, I can't even get him to jump over that tank. Whoever's the YouTuber that's been posting those videos, darn me, because I could have escaped this thing. One person on If he doesn't come for both of us, I'm going to be shocked. Make sure he comes this way. I should probably test it to see if I actually can. I just got a great skill set, but I was looking at the ball. I was, no, not really. Vault it. Is it my controller? What has happened? What is this? Why can I not vault that? That is so broken, dude. Am I ping? It's 69 milliseconds. Jump down. Come on. There we go. That should be good enough. All fine. I would really like to complete that generator though. I really knew that. Second one. For those of you. Actually, if I go back to that gym toolbox, I might be able to look through. It's probably going to be right back here. Now you want to take it the first time. Well, I'm going to say Jesus. The only thing different that I did is I ran at it from a straight on perspective, as opposed to from the side like a medium ball. Why? And that was just going to continue to snowball. Or you can make an immediate pickup. Which if I had a flashlight, I'd have been... Could take that out. I should have taken that out. Mistakes were made. No, dude. How are you gonna stop me with like 1 second left? I didn't even know you could be picked up from the sabotage. I learned something from this, so I'm not entirely mad. It was the perfect plan too, because after I sabotaged that, there's no way that he'd have been able to get that hook. Boom, boom, boom. So, who's done for this stick? So that's good. It's gone. It's gonna either be a hatch escape or a 4-piece. I mean, I guess they could if somehow they find a generator that's gonna work on it. They're able to consolidate. And the other guy's either gonna go down saving them, or he's gonna have to wait for that. I don't even need to see what's gonna happen here. And that is Dead by Daylight. If I wanted to play more, I wouldn't, because it's like a strange glitch when I kept trying to go down that pit, and it was just like, nah, bro. On second thought, I think I'm not gonna let you do that. I think I'll, on second thought, just let you get slapped. Then the time I did jump and I got punched on my way down, I definitely should have baited out a dead hard before jumping, and I wouldn't have taken that damage, and it would have been fun. But I didn't want to use the dead hard early. My thinking back then was I didn't want to use it early, because if he jumped down after me, there wasn't much to go off of. I wanted that card to play. Alright. Another day of not even going into training and playing. I think I'm in about a month of just jumping on without going to training or anything. And it's actually starting to affect me to the point to where I can't even really play the game anymore. But I generally don't have time to spend, you know, the upwards of an hour that I spend training. Don't you dare make me humble. course he's gonna go for the quick touch. Leaving their goal completely open. All you gotta do is keep pressuring it. And that should be a goal. And I'm lagging. That's cool. I probably could have scored that, but things happen. I missed. I'm sad. I thought that was Swabby the bot. That's an actual player. That's fun. Stop that there. Stop it again. And we got a turnaround conversion on that. There you go. Let's go. He was gonna try to fight me for that boost and then demo me. I don't know why toxic players do that. You already took the boost from me. What's demoing me gonna do? Do you really have to assert some sort of dominance? You're in the way, guy. Over their head. Well, was gonna be over their heads. All he can do is touch it down. That's no problem. Uh-huh. And it's an open nut. Pass it to teammate, because he's faster. Not more accurate, though. That's for earlier. Nice touch. Ah, that's not corner where I wanted it. Oh. Put it over his head. Double overhead. Bump. Score it! Yeah, let's go! Boing! Yeah, it is ball cam on. I had my ball cam on. We both went right across. Good push through. He's messing up. Get it to the side. That works too. Cost me my boot. Jesus Christ, I didn't have flip. Cost my boost, but it's not the end of the world. Put this behind him. We can turn on it, doesn't matter. We have control. He's looking for demos and bumps. I'm just gonna wait. And there you go. No problem. He took himself out of the equation of helping his teammates out and things like that by trying to demo me. I was not important. As a matter of fact, I was out of position. I shouldn't even have been upfield with them. I should have been back at goal, getting ready to counterplay if they did get some sort of spectacular play. So him trying to demo me in that situation is an unnecessary and very odd demo, which is how we scored most of our times. Their third man came up, then we got a save, and then just countered them because they had nobody back. So if anything, him demoing me there would have resulted in the same thing. However, I would have been in a better position if they would have saved it. And I would have had boost. So I'm like, what was the purpose of that demo besides just the flex and say, ah ha ha ha. Don't get it. But that is the definition of toxicity in Rocket League. Demos are good, but being toxic demos and things like that that are really unnecessary, that'd be that. Ooh, that was close. I can't touch that. Don't do that. touch it. Or a teammate's just gonna leave because he thought that I was gonna jump in and hit that ball away from him when I was clearly faking on the wall. Boom, 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 boom. Waiting on any type of mistake. All I can do is put it around them. I could have followed that. That's not true. Nice. I took so long on that turn, by the way, because I didn't have a plan afterwards what I was going to do. I'm scared. I'm scared. Doesn't matter. Just hoping to make him flip or react, but nope, he was zoned. And we have another guy that quit for absolutely no reason. No, I guess he was feeling pressured or that they were better than he was or something. I don't know. Nice and gentle. He just wasted his boost, so now it's a 2v2 situation. Never mind, teammate overcommitted. It's gone. He's doing nothing fancy, just another standard kickoff. No need to be fancy or go for the speed. Perfect, right off the wall. Could have been scored hit. Ooh, what a touch. Close. And they got this amazing pinch. What a play. Oh my. That's what I get for going for a bump. There's a lot that I could have done there, but I was like, heck, if it's on target, why touch it? I was trying to avoid using my arrow right there. If you hadn't noticed that weird aerial pattern that I took, I could have gotten there a lot faster doing it, but I don't know. My instincts just told me it was a bad idea to use that arrow there. Don't need to do that. I need to reposition up. And then we just wait on them to make a mistake. Teammate is going to the side instead of posting up for that pass back in. I'm going to pass this cross. He doesn't need to touch that, but if he does, we can still play it. And there we go. Is it an own goal? No. Go here. Always turn back towards your own goal, regardless. Gives you a heck of a lot more degrees and angles to save that ball when it comes down to it. It just kind of a frowny face when your teammate jumps in the line of that and hits it somewhere crazy, when you obviously have control of the ball. No. Seen what you were trying to do. Didn't get the double touch there. All I can really do is shoot it. I don't have boost. Gotta lift it high. Hope he gets a bad touch. Stop him from getting the double touch. There we go. Very bad to go for. Almost. Teammate pre-jumped it. Yeah, that's done. GG. As soon as he pre-jumped it, I knew we were in trouble, so I tried to jump for it when I shouldn't have had to. He should have just waited. There's no danger. I'm not going for that. They can't score it regardless. I mean, they can score. They just don't have the skill at this level to score it. There we go. Try to be speedy. I didn't get that initial touch, so you flip and get into another position off the recovery and try to make a play. You can have the boost, but you ain't getting the ball. You only get one or the other. What would have been better for him is if I would have went for the boost and he left that there as bait. As soon as I touched that, I wouldn't have had the angle to challenge him with. Forcing me to go for ball after that was a very big mistake on his part. Teammate just tried to tee it off of me, which made me react because I couldn't see that it was him. And it's gone. Gotta realize the difference between a dribble and a pass. Starting to think this is just diamond and ID ranked or something. GG, well played. Gotta realize the difference between your teammate going for a dribble or air dribble or something like that and a transition into a pass. I'm right in front of their goal, getting ready to set a play. I put it on top. All I hear is, I'm gonna assume that it's one of them coming for it, because as you would assume your teammates, well, I guess you shouldn't assume in Rocket League. I assumed that my teammates were respecting my play, and they were gonna be covering this side like they were supposed to, as I was coming in from here. Instead, I got close, and he tried to tee it off of me, as made me prompted to basically throw it away in the best pass that I could possibly get, and putting him out of the equation. They then capitalized off that and got a fairly easy goal. I could have... Nah, I don't have boost to follow up. It's off, but probably going in. Look! What? What? I can hit it over him, but I don't know if teammate's ready. Interesting. Yeah, better, huh? That's an unnecessary demo. And I'm back where I just got demoed from and still have control of the ball. I can pick this up. Put to the side. Oh, I thought I could beat him and get the pass back out. Put this up. Teammates way in no man's land, not doing anything. Holy. If you're gonna go up, make a move. If you're gonna stay back, then defend. But you can't be halfway up thinking you're gonna do something. Always gotta get that revenge demo. I don't even care if it's the same person. If you get demoed, you gotta get that one back. As an easy redirect in, that didn't happen. I'm actually going to hit it backwards this way, so I can maintain control and continue to push the ball. Go up, then get another touch, which would have been pretty accurate if my teammate hadn't knocked me out of the way. You gotta respect your teammate's control over the ball. You gotta respect it. Mid? Nope, he's bad. Up. I'm gonna fake this. Put it behind him. Doesn't matter where it goes. Oh, that's perfect. Send it back. Not where I wanted you to send it back. Almost got it. There's no way you're scoring that, buddy. Get out of here. Nope, I'm not letting you get that boost because you're the one that keeps interfering with every play we try to set up. I am so bad! Oh! That's why you need to go to training before you play. That's why you need to go to training before you play. Oh my god. Just call me Diamond. just call me Diamond. Oh, I feel so bad for missing that double touch, and it's literally a lack of training that causes that. And he missed it. Never mind. You don't need to leave or forfeit just because you got embarrassed by something. Just continue to play. Why are gamers nowadays so soft-skinned? Especially Rocket League players. I wish you hadn't touched that. Why? Why are you so soft-skinned? You made a mistake. Keep playing. It's casual. Heck, it's a game in general. Just keep playing. We can be 15-0. Just keep playing. You bought the game to play it, right? You played it, or you're playing it to have fun, right? Some people's definition of the word fun only equates to winning. I know a particular somebody that's like that, and if they ain't winning, they ain't having fun. It's a very negative attitude to have, because generally, most games of Rocket League, you really ain't gonna see yourself winning until you get to a very, very high level. And you can find a group of people that you can increase your win rate with that are equal or higher ranked than you are, but then that just leads to open toxicity. One of the reasons I don't like playing with a team or playing against a team is just the abundant toxicity. You get a bunch of betas together, they're going to sit there and try to say that they're superior to you in some other way, when in essence, you're literally just metagaming, well, a game. You should be ashamed of yourself. I beat you in a game, I'm better than you are. Okay, what have you done in life, though? Nothing? Too young to do anything? Exactly. GG, you upload. And it's those that can't separate a game from real life are the ones that need to go and seek help. If you can't get enjoyment out of a game unless you're winning or doing some other positive action, you don't need to be playing the game, and you also should be seeking some sort of therapeutic help. This means you're missing something in your life, and you're trying to find it through a game, which by any means is not a very good way to do it. Gaming's good for therapy. It's good relief if you use it for relief. If you're playing it just to play because you love the game, that's when it's good. It's negative when you're playing it to feel some sort of superiority. And generally, the people that play the game to feel some sort of superiority are the ones that are feeling insuperior in their workplace. They're generally the underpaid, overworked workers who just want to feel good and be on top of something for once in their life. You know, the losers that don't have the girlfriends and the life and the marriages and things like that. You know, they don't have good things in life with children and things to fall back on. There's some people that do have that and still feel insecure. and insignificant to all their peers and insuperior. It's like you have everything, but you don't realize you have everything. And it's very hard to convince those types of people that they have any type of worth. Put that up high. Because of that. If somebody has nothing and they feel insignificant, all you have to do is give them something. If they have everything and feel insuperior, then you have to make them realize that, hey, you don't need anything because you have everything. Way harder. That's why they say job skill wise. It's easier to train somebody who knows nothing about the job you're going for than somebody who thinks they know everything, that has experience, has been doing the job for some time. Oh, how do you save that? Because you now have to deprogram all the bads and no-nos and shortcuts that they learned at the other job that they had, and reprogram your methodologies and things like that from your particular job. I deal with people with that. I can't say every day, but on most days I deal with people like that. And I'm not talking about on the internet. Well, I guess it is still technically on the internet, but I'm not talking about gamers and things like that. I'm talking about people in general. It's what I do. People frown and say that, you know, sitting in front of a mirror, that's my fault. And he missed. Sitting in front of a mirror saying that you have self-worth and your life is meaningful and things like that. People are like, they feel uncomfortable with it. Hey, nice. They feel uncomfortable and don't want to do it because they think it sounds stupid, especially if they live with people. Then they're even more. They're like, just say it in the shower. Say it when you first get up. Say it in your mind. And they feel embarrassed because they think that that's crazy and all kinds of other things. But what you don't realize is you're already insane. You already need help. The things that you think that you don't want to do because they're considered crazy and whatnot, you're already there. The things people are telling you to do to say that you have self-worth and use self-care and things like that, they're telling you that to bring you out of the, almost like that, to get you out of that craziness that you're experiencing right now. Cool. And people don't realize that. And they just throw it to the side. Well, I'm not going to be one of those crazy people that have to say that I have self-worth. I have confidence in all of that. No, you don't. You might have confidence in doing a job that you've done for 10 years, but you don't have confidence in what you needed. You're lacking it somewhere. That self-esteem's coming from somewhere. And if you think you are confident in everything that you do, you're full of shit. If I laid something out in front of you and told you to, here's $150 million, create a bridge, and you have no type of engineering experience or degrees, you're not going to confidently build this bridge. Why? Because people's lives are relying on that. You build a crappy bridge and then it breaks, and people die. Guess who's going to spend the rest of their life in jail because of it? Is you didn't follow proper practices. That's even if it's even built the code and can even be used. Now you might have confidence and planning and design and things like that, but your engineering experience, no. You have no idea what you're doing. And there's different aspects of confidence, just like there's different aspects in intelligence, which I went over last time. There's IQ and EQ. Your intellectual intelligence, your thinking processes, and then your emotional. Most human beings have a mix of some. There's also some that's more IQ and basically no EQ. There's some that's all EQ and not IQ. if you want to become an entrepreneur, owner of your own business, you actually need more EQ than IQ. You need the emotional intelligence to know how people are going to react to things, and the ability to not manipulate, but to stimulate and sustain those good emotional patterns. There is some manipulation. I can't throw it out there. There's manipulation in sales and marketing and things. I can't believe I've done that. While IQ is just your regular intelligence. Your thinking process, your critical thinking, things like that. Somebody else in the department, those are the people that assist in running a business to think real hard. The EQ is the head honcho, the guy that goes around, keeping things savvy. You can even say human resources is more EQ. The IQ is the financial accountant and things like that nice. that put in paperwork, go through all of the facts and things like that, and then determine if everything's going well or not. A lot of managers don't have that mix of EQ and IQ, which you need both to be a manager. EQ is widely considered the more important stat. If you have an all IQ manager, you're going to have issues with worker morale. Whereas if you have an all EQ manager, you're going to have happier workers. They just might not be as efficient. And among other things. This is just a couple of things. Dang. So going back to the beginning, you want a emotionally smart manager more than you want a intelligently smart manager, to an extent. That's as a general worker and as a human being. But when it comes to other aspects like business, an emotional manager is not going to push numbers or any type of efficiency. You're going to have happier workers, but your products and all of that, and the things that are more important to the business running itself, are going to be absolutely shot, done, in the red. That's how businesses go out of business. Is it's either all IQ or all EQ. You either have workers that aren't happy to work there, which I mean a business can run if workers don't want to work there. You can always hire somebody to do the job, which is why IQ was more favorable business side, while EQ was more favorable employee side. If I have to hire 120 employees a year for a small business, but the business runs efficiently, that's great. Whereas you can have loyal people. I knew that was coming, and he missed. Didn't matter though. Whether you have somebody who takes care of everybody, makes everybody happy, shows the appreciation that's needed and things like that. So all of those are emotions, and will make workers work harder and more efficient to an extent. However, there's no logical drive behind it. Having a happy thing of workers that they basically do whatever they want, which is the high EQ people that have the high acceptance rate, but they're always getting in trouble and talking about, you need to get your numbers up, those types of people. So yeah. That's why you want high EQ people. Well, whoops, I'm just bumping everybody. In HR, than as just in general. Management. Which, I mean, HR is management, don't get me wrong. HR is on the same level as management. HR and management have to work together to create a plan. HR worries about, well, it's human resources. They worry about humans. And, oh my god, I'm so bad. They were about humans and how they are taken care of. Or regular management and staff worry about making sure everything gets done. And that's how businesses are balanced, to have IQ versus EQ. So you have both of them. Try is a little bit more boostable around that. I could have scored that too. What are you doing? Oh, I wanted 2 touches there. Now he has free reign. That's fine. I just need to hit that. It don't matter where it goes. I mean, I could have faked it and took control, but we're up. How about a through there? Towards the end. It's another MVP. Let's go. Are we still up and running? Yes. And I'll say again, your average human being is mediocre. So, you know, they have no high intelligence, they don't have any type of high thought patterns. So let's say out of a 100 scale, 100 and 100 for IQ and EQ, they're about at 50 and 50. Not 70 like school average, 50 as in halfway, mediocre. They're not good, they're not bad, just 50%. Now, there are things that can get you out of mediocrity, and there's things that can put you into mediocrity. Depending on, savage. How things go. Or how your life goes, and skills that you learn, and higher education, and things like that. Education is a very strong thing, because some jobs you don't need education to do, and even if you do go and do the education, you will just have somebody else who understands they don't need it to learn that particular set of job skills. He will just literally same pay, same everything that you have, while not doing any type of extra work. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Send it. Fake. Yeah, your average human's mediocre. This is not by an American school scale. This is American school scale. 60% is an F and failing. Everywhere else, 50% is actually pretty good. Like I said, if you got a 50, that means you literally understand about half of what, well, you mastered, but understand half of what was taught to you. And the more your scores go up, the more you understand. And the thing about it is, well, hang on. Let me redo that. So I'm now confusing 2 different things. Meant to say is an American school scale is a measurement of how well you've mastered what was taught. Or in some cases, not taught to you. Some teachers just completely blow over a subject and then just use a test that has been used for the last 20 years, and they end up causing problems because it was never taught to the class. And a student points it out, and it has to be regraded and re-audited and all that. The American grade scale is based off of, did you comprehend what you were taught? You do the test and all of that. It has nothing to do with how smart you are at a particular thing, or how well you've mastered a subject, or anything like that. Just simple, how much you comprehended, or how much you retained from what you were taught. I knew I shouldn't leave that loose. Oh well. Our regular scale, and basically everywhere else, is the percentage of the subject do you understand, like what that particular subject was taught to you, whether it was, or not taught to you, whether you understand a specific percentage of the subject matter. It doesn't matter if it was taught to you or not, or any of that. It's just the basic understanding of how well you're doing. And you're like, hey, Q, but you just said the same thing twice. Well, no. If I was to teach you 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, 4 plus 4, 7 plus 7, and 10 plus 10, and then give you a test over it, and you got a 100%, that's completely fine. In American standards, you would get, 100%, 80, 90, something like that. Now, if on top of that, I threw in the subject matter, how much tensile strength does the Golden Gate Bridge, how much tensile strength does the Golden Gate Bridge have? And throughout all of that, I maybe mentioned it half a time, or didn't mention it at all, American standard was. You would be docked points because you didn't understand something that was already there. So in America, if you lose points, it's because you weren't paying attention. When it comes to, nice shot, you ain't saving that. To a lot of other places, missing that one question means there was some piece of something there that you didn't understand, and you basically need to look at, find, or go over. So getting a 50% and let's say A is America, B is some other random place, because I don't want to call any place out. Getting a 50% in America means you understood half of the things told to you, while as getting a 50% in place B means that you don't understand 50% of the actual subject matter itself. So one's what's being taught to you, one is understanding the subject matter itself. There isn't any type of 20-year, oh no. There isn't any 20-year worksheet that's been passed down, or you can go online or pull something low. It's official, it's there. Yes, they are made up, but they are pulled from a set of questions and answers that you should know throughout the entire year. They are falling apart. Not just, some teacher decided to A, make the test easier, or A, make the test harder because, whatever, or they bell curve or do anything like that to try to increase students' grades. Like, no. You pull from a set of questions that are already made up, and then you put them all on one sheet, and you let your students test to see if they understand what's in that particular subject. I got an MVP that I don't think I deserve. Nice. These might actually be diamonds, the champ ones. Oh, I missed the double flip reset because I didn't cancel my flip there. Oh yeah, grades and things like that. So that's what I find interesting about that. So when I say that humans are mediocre by nature, oh no! And they're at about a 50%. That means most humans are missing about 50% worth of data, IQ-wise, and 50% worth of data EQ-wise. That's just how it is. There are some people that have a lot more, they're at like 65. There's some that drop in one or another. They have 65 and then they have like 30 in the other one. They both equal up to 100, like each category. So out of 200 total, You add those two together. They both don't equal to 100, if that makes sense. Like, if somebody has 40 IQ, they're not going to have 60 EQ. They can have 40 IQ and 40 EQ. Doesn't matter. Now, there are things that prevent 100% of things from going through. If you have any type of brain damage or anything like that, or birth conditions and things like that, your upper limit may be limited. You may never get 100%. You did not demo. You know, your highest in one particular category can be like 10% or something like that if you're like more of like a vegetative state. We're at a 60% above mediocre, but you'll never achieve your full potential because of the brain damage. And as you get older, unfortunately, things will continue to degrade. There are some people that have 100 of each. They have all the business, well, not business knowledge, IQ knowledge and emotional knowledge. They're just up there. They were born that way. They have good genes. You know, they've learned what they needed to learn. The nobody's perfect thing don't necessarily qualify here because, well, the score might be out of 100, but you can go higher than 100. There are some people that could have 200 EQ and absolutely 0 IQ. You just never know. Let's see. Oh, I saved it though. You never know. And you can tell if somebody has higher than mediocre EQ because they'll start showing signs of it. So as I said, 50 is the normal, your normal average human being. They go through, you know, mood swings and phases of their lives, yeah, but there's not anything extra on top of the regularness, you know, the mediocreness, what you would expect. You can tell the people that have higher than mediocre IQ or EQ because they'll start experiencing more symptoms, things of that nature. Creativity's part of EQ, by the way, if you're just wondering. And having higher, oh, I was about to get him back. And having a higher EQ will give you more creativity and thinking patterns like that. So an artist or something like that will have higher EQ than IQ in most cases. And that's also one of the reasons why people with high IQ, you know, the people that are like, I tried to become an artist. I understand what you're saying. You can use rulers and everything else, and you can learn how to be an artist. But they just can't figure it out because they don't have that super creative thought process. Oh, that was so close. I need to go for that. Well, I don't need to, but I should go for that. That's fine. We're not out of danger yet. If he misses that, we're good. Nice! This will probably be the last game I play, by the way. I am so sorry, teammates. What a save? I didn't have to do that. I could have just scored it on the left side, but I was like, I'm going to extend it and make it even longer. That's rude of me to do that. Hey! Now that I'm consciously looking at MVP points, I'm not going to get it. Oh, maybe. He misses. Oh, I can pass it though. Wait for it. One more. Oh, I should have used the last 10 to get there in time. Or I could use it there. Let's go. Oh, I was so close. I'm gonna actually overcommit this because it's the end of the game and there's really not too much to worry about. He's on goaling. Get it, get it, get it! Oh, that would have been Omega MVP. Another MVP, baby. Well played. Sad thing is half of what I was doing, besides when I actually commented, was basically muscle memory. That's just me from playing a long time. Who's Spikey's on? Just jumping in and just doing things, you know? Alright. I've been live for 3 hours, so this is a good stopping point. I appreciate anybody coming in, leave some comments on a rant, things like that, or extend upon what I'm saying. But regardless, supplement your lifestyle. I'm about ready to because I am very hungry.